Wholeness, thank you for being here. This is Mark Roman with Muscle Mentality, and this is how to deal with everything. The 30-day challenge, how to deal with everything that a human being experiences. We are on day 9. Yesterday was day 8, and we spoke about purpose and how to embody purpose and how purpose is really a feeling and a direction. And that to find purpose, your purpose is serving others. So actualize your highest self so that you can give it and gift it to others. Now today is day 9. And when we're talking about gifting to others and we're talking about compassion and serving others, to get closer to one another and realize that we are of the same kind and that we are the same, we need to recognize that all is self. So today, day 9 is about releasing judgments, because a judgment is a separation. It's a separation that literally is a line, is a divider between you and someone else. And if we're trying to get to a place of compassion, if we're trying to get to a place of complete understanding and equanimity with all beings, with even the trees, if you are judging a tree for where it stands or how it looks, you are separating yourself from it rather than appreciating its existence. And when we appreciate its existence and we have compassion for it, you start to recognize, like, maybe I used to be a tree. Maybe you used to be me. And when you look at someone and they could be a different skin color, a completely different background, and you notice the same traits and personalities in yourself that is in them, you say, maybe we are one and the same. Maybe you're not as different as I thought you were. Maybe, we're 99.9% alike by DNA. That's what DNA has confirmed. And yet we go to extended lengths to separate. This is my country. This is my city. I'm from Hong Kong. I'm not from China. I'm from Staten Island. I'm not from Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn, but we're all from New York. So it becomes this thing about, what are we really fighting for? And what is really the purpose? What is the intention? What is the fear of getting close to another? So we got to release these judgments about, this person is doing something that I don't approve of, or this person is doing something that I don't agree with, or this person is doing something that I just would never do. But on day 1, I told you that all is self. All is self. All is existing within your consciousness. So to say that this is something that doesn't exist within you, it's in your experience. So obviously it exists. You are the center of your universe. So obviously it exists within your universe. And you allowed it to exist there, and you agreed for it to exist there. So when you appreciate people's behaviors, personalities, characters, actions, you wanted it to be there. You chose to be here for a new experience, and here comes a new experience. So why would you judge it and separate it and act like you didn't want it in the first place? So judgment, it really gets deep, because all the worlds are on top of each other, and the only way that they are separated by the judgments they have to one another. And this feeling of judgment is deeply embedded. It's so deeply embedded, and I really want us to get out of it. I really want us to get to a place of equanimity and wholeness. Wholeness, inherently whole, means no separation, no compartmentalization. I told you in deprogramming, the most direct programming is the compartmentalization of the mind, and it begins as children. It begins as children in schools, where they're compartmentalizing your mind and telling you to learn something, what to know, how to know it, and when to know it. And telling you that a subject is only studied during these periods of time. But when we come into wholeness, we don't need separation. We don't need separation. So, judgment. When you release judgments within yourself, you release separations within yourself. You're breaking a limit. So we're trying to break these limits always, and that's what I keep talking to you guys about. We're really trying to break these limits. So I'm just looking at my notes here. Now, when you judge someone or their actions, you bring Bring it full circle to where it existed within you. Bring it full circle. If you say it doesn't exist in you, you just haven't identified it yet. All is self. It's the highest maxim. All is self. All is consciousness and derives from the same consciousness. And every time somebody achieves a higher level, an altered state of consciousness, they're always talking about how it's all one. It's all connected. It's all one. It's all connected. So if you say it doesn't exist in you, you just haven't identified it yet. Or maybe you're in denial. So for example, if somebody lies and you have a judgment against liars, try to think back. It's about empathy. It's about compassion. Try to think back to a time where you lied. And when you put yourself in that consciousness, you will understand the type of situation that would have caused somebody to lie. And it's not that you're condoning and you're supporting lying. It's just that you understand, and that there's no more judgment, there's no more separation, because you've been there too. You understand? You see where I'm getting at? So there's many techniques of releasing judgment, and I want to bring up Ho'oponopono again. Again from the deprogramming video, day 5. It's a Hawaiian ritual designed to clean the surface of memories, to clean the surface of it's to clean all the things that don't serve us anymore. We clean them away. We delete them, we erase them. Because in truth, how is the judgment serving you? It doesn't. By reinforcing this thing of separation, we already understand we're in different bodies, we're in unique bodies, and my body doesn't look like your body, and we have unique experiences. There's no need to reinforce separation. Separation is reinforced to such a high level. We need to reinforce that we are all one. So let's break down the judgment. So Ho'oponopono is 4 phrases. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Again, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. This is reinforcing the all is self. I love you. You are me. I love myself. I love you. Look at you. You're here. I love you. And this is within consciousness. This is when you become aware of something that makes you feel adverse, something that doesn't feel good, and something that you don't want that to exist in that way anymore, because you understand that you created it. So you're taking responsibility for your creation. So you recognize the judgment within you. So taking back to the lying example, if you recognize that you have a judgment against people that's lying, and you're aware of it, and you felt it in your being, and you say, hold on, breathe. I love you. You exist. I love you. This judgment exists. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I was unconscious. I'm sorry that this is existing in my consciousness and I had no idea. Please forgive me. I'm going to do better. I'm going to be a more whole being. I'm going to embrace wholeness. I'm going to walk in alignment. I'm going to serve others with compassion to the highest of my ability. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to let go. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to let go. And then you let it go and you clean it. And it helps me to visualize literally an eraser cleaning away the whiteboard of my consciousness, the whiteboard of my soul. So all that's left is just pure white. Because visualization is such a key tool in the realm of consciousness on the spiritual path. You're communicating to yourself that this no longer exists. We're not having this anymore. And it's not that you forget, it's that you're eliminating the connotation. You're erasing the connotation. You're erasing the judgment. You're eliminating the energy associated with the judgment. You're eliminating it, and you come to equanimity. So you clean it. So again, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And this is how to release judgments. Become aware of it and breathe it out. Ho'oponopono is a very good tool. I invite you to utilize it. It's not something necessary to utilize, but it's been very helpful on my path. And now just saying the words, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, Please forgive me. Thank you. And then even just saying it on replay in my mind, it allows me to get into that place of just clearing. And I'm cleaning all day. I'm cleaning all day. So thank you for being here. This is day 9, releasing judgments. Releasing judgments from yourself and others. Releasing judgments from yourself that are on others. Now, one thing actually, before I go, now that I say that, releasing judgments from yourself, that's critical, key. Critical. A lot of times when you judge others, you'll see that it's a mirror and you're actually judging yourself. So, recognize, where am I hard on myself? Where am I criticizing myself for irrational, like excessive, like where am I being extra hard on myself? Where am I judging myself? Because then you're creating a separation within yourself. Think about that. It's one thing to reinforce the separation between you and another being, but now you're reinforcing the separation within your own universe, within your own consciousness. And you need to come into wholeness. So release the judgment. So even when you notice in yourself, that you're judging yourself, that, oh, why did I do that? I'm so stupid. Oh man, like I suck at that. And then you start closing up. You start looking down all the time, and you start putting your hands in your pockets and your shoulders roll up, right? Because you're just closing down. Suck at that. I'm never gonna find somebody good for me. I'm never gonna get a good job. I'm never gonna get paid enough. I'm never gonna get out of this debt. All these judgments. How did I get myself here in the first place? I'm terrible at math. I'm terrible at money. I'm terrible. It's all of this. I just want to lose weight. Why am I so fat? Why do I keep eating like this? Why am I such an asshole? Why do I keep, like, it's all judgments. Now, I'm not saying that criticism isn't helpful, because it is. But it's when you release that, it's just when you observe yourself with the objective perspective, it becomes so useful, right? Like, so if you're sifting through your consciousness, right, and you're aware and you're meditating, right, and you're just looking through the reel of your life, the highlight reel, right, and I'm gonna use me as an example, and I'm like, okay, what happened to Mark today? Oh, so Mark has this need, this desire to always be right. That's interesting. Because that's good information. That's something that we should know. Okay, all right, Mark has this need to always give people advice. Okay, all right, that's something good to know. That's good information. All right, let me keep it moving. But if I was like, notice the difference, because if I was like, Mark always has this need to know. Why does he think he knows it all? Like, who does he think he is? Like, what makes him think that he's better than other people? Remember that time you gave somebody advice and it turned out wrong? Remember that time that you got into an argument and then your words were flipped on its head and you realized that you were wrong? Like, well, that's actually a valid point, but these judgments on yourself are not helpful. They're not serving you. They're like self-deprecating. But when you are just observing, I like what Tom Campbell says, you're a dispassionate observer. A dispassionate observer, like a researcher. You know how a researcher, they're so meticulous and they're just peeling through, and this is some serious stuff, but they're just peeling through. We're peeling through the story of your life, and you're just cleaning that one. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Breathe. Oh, remember that time you got rejected? You tried to give that girl a teddy bear? Breathe. Remember that time Dad told you you weren't practicing enough? Breathe. Remember that time you broke that girl's heart? I love you. You feel it. Then you feel it. You can feel it anywhere. Right now I feel it here in my left clavicle. And I'm sending air. And I'm easing the tension. I'm breathing. And this is real time. This is happening right now. This is a true story. Breathe. I love you. I'm I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I release judgment from myself. I forgive myself. And then you could even add the affirmations from day 3. I forgive myself completely. I forgive myself completely. You forgive yourself. The forgiveness, you just come to this place of embodiment. Like once you release the judgment, what are you going to fill it with? You're going to fill it with love. Self-love. I love myself completely. I forgive myself completely. And you just clear yourself and you lighten the load, and it's not your fault anymore. It's not nobody's at fault. It's just what it is. And we all make mistakes because we're walking on this path, and at the end of the day, we are all trying to figure this out. We're all in this together. We're all trying to figure this out. We all have our own problems. We all have our own story that we're trying to transcend. We all have our memories, our past pain. We all have our stuff. Excuse me. And even when somebody acts very, for a lack of a better word, they're being violent, hostile. Just like what would cause you to get to that place? Just try to come to a place of compassion and empathy. What would cause you to get to that place? What sequence of events really caused you to get there? And then when you come to that place, then you could what sequence of emotions? Like, what did it take for you to get there? Because when you came out, you're just a loving being. But we had to be conditioned to be separate. So what sequence of events caused you to get here? And you just come to this place of understanding and empathy. Understanding. Understanding. Knowing that all is self. And that we are all here together, so let's take care of each other. And to take care of each other, you got to release judgments of each other, because the judgments are always going to be a wall that doesn't let the energy shine through, that doesn't let the energy flow through. So love yourself and love others. Release the judgments on yourself and release the judgments on others, because it affects your clarity in making strong decisions. Because if you have a judgment against a certain group of people, you'll never be able to make a clear decision, because you're filtering the information through this judgment. So love yourself, love others, release judgment on yourself, release judgment on others, come into a place of wholeness. I love you. Thank you for being here. Subscribe to the newsletter at musclementality.com. Subscribe below to this YouTube channel if you're loving this How to Deal with Everything 30-Day Challenge, because I keep coming alive with it. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you, and I'll see you tomorrow on day 10. Wholeness.